the most painful, demoralizing, heartbreaking,
你不要玩了，你走开，走开！
but importantly, the most rewarding experience of my life.
1、2、3，好，1、2、3，1、2、3，1、2、3，所有人蹲下。
为什么要我呢？
Yes, in today's video, we are going to be reviewing, reacting to, and giving you the real truth as to how I ended up here, being physically destroyed and mentally broken down by a group of Taiwanese frogmen on a beach,
要跑去哪里啊？
along with a few friends and a few strangers, all of whom would become brothers as we took on the Taiwanese Frogmen 24-hour challenge. So, if you haven't seen the series in full yet, then go check it out on Ku's channel. But if you have already seen it, then I'm pretty sure you'll agree it's worth a like and zanning on this video, and possibly even a subscription if you haven't already, because as I'm about to explain, things got crazy, and I hope in this video I can share with you a little bit of behind the scenes and a few secrets that didn't make it into Ku's final edit. But first, let's get back to sometime in the summer when I first received a call from Ku asking me about the series and whether or not I would be interested in a 24-hour military video. Now, the truth is at that time things weren't going very well for me. I had just had to quickly move house, been diagnosed with anxiety, angina, and although I'd lost quite a bit of weight, I just wasn't sure I was ready to take on any kind of military training experience, and I told Ku I wasn't sure about taking part. And when I told him about my anxiety, the first thing he did was invite me up to his house to discuss it, so I went to stay with him a couple of days, and he managed to encourage me to believe in myself, gave me the confidence that he believed I could do it, and also that the viewers would 100% be behind me however I performed. And to cut a long story short, I signed up, gave him my word, and a couple of months later found myself on the minibus from Taipei to Yilan, driving down a dark trail and being led to an isolated beach for the toughest 24 hours of my life. One thing I can tell you is that Ku didn't tell any of us exactly what to expect. He had told us a 24-hour military video, some running, some press-ups, and that we would probably get wet. He certainly hadn't lied about the getting wet part, but he also hadn't told us the levels the instructors were going to push us to and how much of a mental journey this would be. So when that first bottle of freezing water hit us square in the face,
it was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
And we were told to strip on the beach and change into the t-shirt and shorts, we all immediately realized that this wasn't going to be just another video. And before we knew it, we were jogging along the beach through rivers, up hills, down hills, and basically we're now at the mercy of these instructors for the next 24 hours. And for anyone who thinks that any of this was faked, staged, or cut short, let me tell you, this was 24 hours. Some of the activities lasted 2 or 3 hours, but only made it into the video for 1 to 2 minutes in Ku's final edit. He had to condense 24 hours into 3 30-minute videos, so there was a lot of pain and suffering that didn't make it into the final cut. In fact, Ku didn't discuss the production level of the series at all, but he did have 7 cameramen, a producer, an assistant, dozens of cameras, so I'm guessing hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage just to make sure that nothing was missed. So I do want to say congratulations to him and his team, but yeah, no corners were cut in order to make the filming run smoothly. This was a genuine military experience, and from the outset, it was obvious some of us were going to be pushed to and beyond our breaking points. So, I tell myself, this is your time to quit. This is your time to quit.
起立，你趴着干嘛？
Now, I think it's fair to say that I personally found almost every stage of the experience difficult. There wasn't one time in the 24 hours where I felt comfortable, and I think everyone had their own difficulties, whether it was me with my age and lack of Chinese understanding, Heilong and his inflexibility,
不要叫，不要叫，在叫什么啊？
or Lucas and Bingsho, who had maybe skipped 1 or 2 many leg days.
丙修真的是没有做脚，他一直 skip leg day。蹲低一点，
快点，快点！
Yes, yes, yes.
But although we hadn't been briefed on anything beforehand, one thing was tacitly very clear to us, and that was we were there as a team, a band of brothers, and we had to support each other, carry each other when needed, and encourage each other to believe in ourselves. So at one point when Lucas said he couldn't continue due to his injured knee, and I said this, if he's dying on the battlefield, you'll carry him out. It sounds ridiculously dramatic. Of course, we weren't going anywhere near a battlefield, but in that moment, after hours and hours of already being pushed to the limit, this feeling of brotherhood just led me to saying it. And one thing I think Ku really captured throughout the series was how we really bonded very quickly and made friends for life in that 24 hours. I really cannot express that enough. Now, personally, there are a few things I need to explain and perhaps apologize for, the first of which being my overuse of a few expletives in the first episode.
不要再放。
就一个基数。
我问你们 O 不 OK 吗？你说 OK 的啊，为什么要我呢？
And there's no excuse other than to say I was in extreme pain, and it is scientifically proven that swearing helps relieve pain, but it was clear that the instructors were not going to accept it, and things would get worse for me unless I controlled the foul language, so I self-edited on several occasions. But one thing that did give me the most trouble was the Chinese level, and to be honest, it wasn't just me. The military language confused everybody at some level.
所有人手勾手，手勾手。
But I was certainly the weakest Chinese speaker, and as such, when the coach asked me if I wanted to continue, and I said, 不要, no.
哎，你要不要受训？不要，不要受训，是不是？
He took this as an insult to him and immediately told me to f off in no uncertain terms.
走开啊！
你要敲钟吗？
Obviously, I had thought he was asking me if I wanted to quit, which is why I said no. It was confusing to say the least, and several times I had to just ask for translations to avoid myself or the team being punished. But talking of quitting, the first time it crossed my mind was the morning just after I'd made this huge misunderstanding, and we were all sent to the ocean and back again, and then me and Lucas, who were the last two to run back, were sent back to the ocean again and again and again. Now, I'm not sure if I'm misremembering this part, but I'm sure we went back 4 or 5 times, and in the video it looks like we went back 2 or 3 times. All I remember was thinking, this coach has identified me and Lucas as the weakest links, and he was going to keep sending us back until one of us quit. And as the oldest, I was thinking, well, I'll take the shame and let Lucas continue. So every time I got into the water, I was thinking, I'll quit when I get back to the beach. But then every time I ran back up that hill and saw the teammates standing there, I was like, no way, you can take one more time. And eventually the coach stopped sending us into the water and we continued with the next exercise. But to say I never thought about quitting would be an absolute lie. Quitting was in the front of my mind the whole time, the whole 24 hours. One thing that Ku didn't show too much of in this video was the hike we made from the beach up to the top of a mountain and then back down a rather steep cliff. And also he didn't show exactly how many rocks were in those backpacks on the way up the hill. They were stuffed with 30 kilos plus of rocks, and that hike was a good 3 to 4 hours, despite only being in the video for 2 or 3 minutes. And to be honest, although it wasn't comfortable going up the hill, hiking down through the forest was probably the least pressured part of the experience, and I almost started to enjoy it until we got out of the forest and were faced with a cliff to climb down, where any mistakes would have been catastrophic. And I really started going into my own head and overthinking everything and allowing my anxiety to get the better of me. And to be fair to him, Ku didn't put much of this in the video to maybe save my embarrassment, but I really mentally struggled coming down that cliff. You can see my legs shaking wildly, and I have to thank Lucas and Ku, who were in front of me and behind me, for guiding me out of it, getting me down one step at a time. And again, to talk of quitting, I had told myself that once I got onto that beach, I was going to go for a swim, take it easy, and quit right there and then. But once again, after I got out of the ocean and my teammates were there, the instructors told us to line up for the next exercise, and I didn't even have chance to tell them I wanted to quit. Again, my thinking was just do this exercise, then quit after this one, and this exercise was where everything got super serious for me. And as I said in the video, I really felt like I was damaging my body during some of these drills. I literally couldn't move my legs in the way the others could. The muscles were failing, my joints were in pain, and I just couldn't do it. But once again, my teammates were there to pick me up, dust me off, and get me back in the game.
我们再走10步就到了，10步就到了。10步就到了，来，加油，来，加油，可以，快，好，来，左，右。
But with every extra drill, I was getting weaker and weaker, more and more out of breath. And this is when I seriously had a panic attack and I thought I was gonna die again. It's happened to me before. I get this real sense of doom and I feel like everything is closing in on me. And yeah, it sounds ridiculous in the video, but I said in the video something like, you're gonna see me die, which is ridiculous.
躺下，躺下，过来。
Nobody was going to die. I was just uncomfortable to a level that I've never been before and being made to do things I'd never done before. So I actually lashed out a bit at Ku and told him this is pointless. We shouldn't be doing this just for a YouTube video.
好，
Which he kind of chose to ignore and didn't take seriously, because now in reflection, of course, this is the kind of thing we should be doing for YouTube. It's our job, sharing experiences that other people find entertaining, informative or emotional, and I think Ku's series on this occasion fulfilled these 3 criteria perfectly. Incredibly entertaining, very informative for anybody that doesn't know about the Waren, and emotional to say the least. But at that moment on the beach when I was physically, mentally and emotionally at my lowest ebb, I was questioning everything. And to be honest, I've often questioned the bravery of soldiers in war, like how can they do it? Or even people on the street that put themselves in danger or put themselves in harm's way to defend others. I always doubted if I could be a person to do that. But I discovered when our backs are against the wall and everything is unsure or we are under threat in some way, that's when we find our true strength and discover what we are truly capable of. And on that beach, being dragged to my feet by my friends and brothers was where I found a new limit for myself. A pride in myself that I guess I've been needing to find for a long time now, and what? Just proud of myself and those 5 guys that picked me up and believed in me. Yeah. Proud of myself and happy to admit it. But that wasn't it. There was still one incredibly difficult challenge to come. The road to paradise, as it's known. And if I'd known this was coming, I would have kept my quitting mentality on the beach and opted out of it much before I found myself on my elbows and knees, looking at a 15-meter crawl along sharp rocks, gravel and stones. But one thing I just want to clarify before we get there was earlier I said in the last 24 hours I didn't have one comfortable moment, which was maybe a bit of a lie because the boat trip between the 2 beaches, with all of us just having been through hell and back, cresting the waves, the wind in our hair, was a memory that will stay with me forever. The smiles on the faces of the other members, but basically we felt we had achieved something amazing and this was the way home. We felt like the challenges were over and we were heading to some kind of passing out ceremony, which we were, kind of, but the Frogmen passing out ceremony begins with this road to paradise. And as it's so well known and part of the real experience, there was no way we were going to be allowed to skip it. So we were given instructions on what was required, and I honestly thought it was a joke. When the instructor demonstrated for us, I thought there was no way any of us could overcome that kind of pain on our bodies, and as had been the case for the entire experience, I had been nominated as number 1, so I was first. And let me tell you, the physical pain of those rocks will stay with me forever. But knowing that those 5 guys behind me were watching me, encouraging me, and they were going to have to go through the same thing, I just got down on my elbows and knees, struggled through and did the best I could. And yes, it looks like I'm French kissing some of those rocks, but I didn't care how I looked. It wasn't even on my mind. The millions of people that would watch it wasn't on my mind at all. All I could think of was getting to the end and getting that candy that I'd been promised. And as I mentioned in Ku's video, I screwed up the instructions at the end and was sent back to do the whole thing again. Still considered quitting at that point, but ultimately did it again one more time from even further back the second time. Got my candy, which tasted like the most amazing candy you've ever tasted in your whole life. It's still there, the taste in my mouth if I close my eyes. And also got my tangible reward, this Frogmen coin, which I am going to keep and treasure for the rest of my life. It's just a piece of metal, but it means so much to me. And more importantly, I feel that I earned the respect of my 5 brothers that came with me every step of the way. So to Lucas, Bing Show, CCY, Heilong, and of course, Mon Ami, Kudream, thanks so much for being a part of an incredibly special personal journey and believing in me even when I was at my lowest points. I could never have done it without you guys. And of course, thanks to the hundreds of commenters that gave me congratulations and your respect in Koo's comment section. I read all of them and just want to say every comment means more than you will know. And yes, if there is a second series and I'm invited, I will be there and I will be in better shape to perform a bit better, and I will do my best to make my family, William, my brothers, the rest of Taiwan as proud as can be. Oh my goodness, I've got through this video without crying. I can't believe it. If you want to see me cry, go check out Koo's video. There's plenty of crying in that one. But yes, that's it. That's my little review and recap of the series on the whole. I don't have anything else to say other than to thank everybody for your support and love. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I hope 2022 brings lots of happiness and joy for everybody. This is my last video of the year, so I'll see you in the new year. But as for now, and as always, I'll see you next time in My Life in Taiwan. Peace. Bye-bye.